Hello everyone, Tech Tanish here. Today I am going to show you a super easy tutorial on how to make an aesthetically pleasing paint in Scratch. Now just a side note, this project that I am going to make in this video I have already shared on my Scratch page, but if you still want to make it for yourself and understand how I made it, then you can stick around, or otherwise the link of this project is in my description and you can go check it out. So now without further ado, let's start making this. Okay, so now that we have started with this project, let's first rename it. I'll call it paint. By the way, I have all of these things here because this is a heavily customized version of Scratch which I have done using Scratch add-ons. I'm going to make a different tutorial on how to customize it, but you can even do it with the base version of Scratch. There is nothing new in this except for the change of layout. Alright, so first let's delete this default sprite. Now just press this button and it will create a new sprite for you. On that, go to this text column and make a title. I guess I'll just call it paint in Scratch, but you can call it whatever you want. Or if you don't want to have this step, then you can just skip it. Now just resize this according to as much as you want. And I want to change the font and size, but if you don't want to do that, then you can skip this step. Now that I'm done making this, I'm just going to call it title. Now we'll just add some basic blocks of code. Now let's add another sprite and it should become a button as it is the start button. Now I can't move the sprites on screen because my plugin doesn't allow me to do that, but I can resize and change its position, which I don't want to do. So I'll just let this be here and change the name to start button. Now this feature might not be available on the normal Scratch, but it is for me. Now we select text and make a text box and write start. And remember, set the color to white, otherwise it won't be visible. Now resize it, change the circle, and done. Now you have to add this script here, which basically means that when you press this, it will broadcast started, which will help us later on in the project for when we add the colors. And you also have to add this script here, which basically means that when the title receives started, it will hide. So now the project will kind of look like this. Paint in Scratch, okay, start. Now the process to make the colors is really simple. You just have to hover over this, go to choose a sprite, choose this button, or you can choose any sprite you want such as basketball, ball, button 3, button 4, whatever, but I'm just going to use this normal button and shape it according to whatever you want. Now I want to set the size to 50 as I'm going to add other colors here. Set the X to minus 190 and set the Y to 150. Actually, on second thought, I guess you could even set it to 210 if you wanted it to be on the border. Or you could just add a minus over here to make it at the start of the screen. Now this is gonna be a long one. Just name the sprite to whatever color you want. Now my primary color will be black. Oops. And go to the costumes. Again, delete this. Do not make it fill with gradient. Just set it to this first one. That is if you have the version. Change the name Now the coding of this one is pretty simple. Now just add these lines of code. When flag clicked, hide because we don't want it interfering with the title and the start button. Then when I receive started, show. And when this sprite clicked, broadcast black clicked. Now you might be wondering why I don't directly set the pen color to black. That's because I have tried it and somehow there's some bug, at least on my version. So if you are willing to try, then sure you can do that, but for this tutorial I am not. Now you need to create a new sprite called draw. Now just press paint and don't do anything in the costumes tab. Just write draw and that's it. Now you just have to do when I receive black clicked, set pen color to black. So here's an easy way to do that. Instead of manually checking all of this, you can just press this and select black. Now here's a piece of code that you'll need all the time. When I receive started, forever go to mouse pointer, and if the mouse is down, then the pen will be down, otherwise the pen will be up. So this is how it works. So I start, and now I can actually start painting with black. However, you also need to add another piece of code which without all of this would still remain, and when you actually start this, these drawings that you have done will be on the welcome screen, which you obviously wouldn't want. So when flag clicked, erase all. Now doing the other stuff is very easy. Just duplicate this. Now not black too, I want it to be brown. Okay. Now that you have set brown, open this, change the x by 50. So this is minus 210. So minus 50 would be minus 160. Oops. And there you go. Now just set the y to 150 and done. Now all you need to do is go to costumes, select the circle and change the color according to the color that you have. So right now it's supposed to be brown, and I should change it to be about here. Now all you need to do is go to costumes, select the circle and change the color according to the color that you have. So right now it's supposed to be brown, and I should change it to be about here. Yeah, I guess that's brown. Now after this is done, you go to the code and you will see that all of the code is also replicated. So over here you just need to change this and make the whatever color you have clicked. Done. And now go to draw, duplicate this and change it to the next one, and tada! Now just duplicate this same thing as many times as you want for the different colors that you want. And for the sake of this video, I am just going to do 5 colors: black, brown, dark green, dark blue and red. So let's make them. Alright, so when that is done, your project will kind of look like this. So you start, then there's this thing that comes, and then you can start drawing with all your colors. Okay, but there are still 2 things missing: the eraser and the size option, because right now it's just giving you the option to keep brush size 1. You also want to be able to change it, right? So for that, first let's add the eraser button. Alright, so making the eraser is pretty simple. Just press paint and now make a white kind of box but don't make it background white, otherwise it won't change from the background. Select rectangle and make this. There you go. Again change the color, my mistake, sorry. White. And now add another rectangle from about here and set the color to, I guess, blue. You can actually set it to anything you want, but I want to keep it blue, so I'll keep it blue. Alright, so now you reshape it and done. That's your eraser. Now actually I left more space here for adding more colors, but as I'm not going to in this video, you can do it if you want. Now if you want to put text over here, suppose eraser, then you can, which I will. But if you don't want to, then it's still perfectly fine. Alright, now the only reason I've made the eraser so big is because I don't have any more colors. But you can change the size according to whatever you want if you have more colors or less. Now just rename this to eraser, and the X and Y settings are a little different here. I've kept X 180 and Y 110, but if you change the shape and size of the eraser, then it might be different. So now let's get started with the actual code. It's pretty simple, just the same thing. When flag clicked, hide, and when this sprite clicked, broadcast eraser clicked. And now here in draw, I just set when I receive eraser clicked, set pen color to whatever background color you have on your Scratch project. So I've just missed one block, and that is when I receive started show. So now our Scratch project kind of looks nice. Okay, I have made some drawing, but I don't like it. Now there you go, I want to erase it. And now we come to the second thing and the last thing, which is the size. Right now the eraser is as big as the length of the brush I drew with. So we don't want that. Now it could take like 20 minutes just trying to erase whatever you want. So now let's fix that and add size. Alright, so adding size is pretty easy. Let's press start. Now you just have to create a variable called size and set it to for all sprites and add the following code. When flag clicked, hide variable size and set it to 1. So then your previous size won't affect your new paint game. And then another piece of code, when I receive started, forever set the pen size to whatever you set on the size slider, otherwise it won't work. And when I receive started, show variable size. Alright, so now we officially have Paint in Scratch prototype, basically base version. And now when the actual version releases, when we actually make it, I will be making a separate tutorial and everything for that. But for now, this is Paint in Scratch. Alright, I start. We can have as many colors as we want, but I'm just keeping 5 for demo purposes. Alright, I want to change the size. Okay. Oops, I made a big dot there, which I don't want, which I shall erase. And that's it. We can change the size, we can do everything. So until next time, see you.